What's up, cousins? It's DYANAROZAY, and I bring a unique commentary to your favorite reality TV shows and whatever is popping on social media. I need you guys to come in, join the discussion, become a subscriber if you are not already, and make sure your notification bells are on so that you don't miss a thing. Welcome back, cousins. And if you are new here, welcome to the family, period. It's your girl, DYANAROZAY, and I'm here to bring you guys the latest on Real Housewives of Atlanta, season 17, episode 3, part 3 of the reunion. So this concludes the season. Welcome, everybody. Nice to have y'all. Listen, I know it's late, but we are going to get through it, child, because if I don't do it tonight, I'm not going to do it. I know I'm not going to do it. So I appreciate you guys for joining me. Okay. And I'm going to get right into it. Kelli Potter. Oh my goodness. There was a point where Andy said something to her child. She tried to, Andy, I need you to blip, blip, blip. And Andy gave her a look. He said, Kelli, you won't stop. Like whatever was going on, you could just tell that Andy's over it. And I told y'all this before. Andy has kids now, and that Benjamin be working his Ben be working Andy Cohen's nerves. Okay, so the one thing he's not going to do is coddle Kelli or anybody else on that stage. You can tell that he's much older, child, and he just ain't going to do it. Not that he was doing it before. Let me put it out there, baby, because I told y'all, as much as y'all like to give Carlos King, Andy be running them girls through there. Okay, thank you. But now that Ben, his baby, that son of his, takes him through the ringer. I had played a video on my IG page one day. Andy Cohen was in the streets losing his mind because of his son, right? His son was having a temper tantrum. He didn't know how to handle it. He was like losing it. He went live to apologize to anybody who saw him on the street and thought that he needed to be locked up in an asylum. So I know, and we've seen him scream in Teresa's face. I know y'all saw him scream in Teresa's face. Anyway, long story short, he caught himself before he went too hard on Kelli. But baby, Kelli better cut it out. She's not a favorite. I told y'all this before. His energy, his vibes with Kelli and with Pinky, you can tell he don't like them too much. And then Shamia comes right after that. Okay, I'm not lying. Anyway, welcome everybody. Nice to have you guys. I see Miss Belicious in the house. Good evening. Good evening. Hey, how are you? What is up, my friend, Miss Deidre? She is a member. If you'd like to become one, the link is pinned to the top of the chat. Make sure everybody takes the poll about that receipt. Okay, about Shamia's receipt. Her smoking gun, the thing that she packed away. Okay, she didn't bring Gerald, but she went over to Kinko's. She went over to Kinko's and she printed that motherfucking receipt. Please take the poll and let me know what y'all thought of that. Okay, what is up, Jesse? Nice to have you. Deborah's in the house. Nice to have you, girl. Who else we got? Sherry, what's up? Miss Dyrese, I love Miss Dyrese. She said, hold my fingers over my head as I creep through. Okay, she doing the creep. You said Andy has his faves. That he does, baby. Always has. Always has. And then I have Miss Baby Peaches, also another one of my members. I appreciate you, honey bunny, for coming through and hanging out. Y'all talk to me in the chat while we get into this damn review. Okay, so it opens up. They are still talking to K Michelle. They actually run her package, right? And then we hear from K during the season, because y'all know Kay was really cutting up all season long, even though Andy Cohen thought that shit was funny. For a lot of us that were watching her at home and who have seen her in the past, we were like, what is going on with K Michelle, right? It was, it was a lot of questions. There was a lot of questions that were being had. But we watched this package back and we hear her say something about people shouldn't care about whether her hot pocket smells like a sardine or a Glade candle. So they played everything, baby. The oysters, the whole nine. Kay going off about every little thing that literally she would just make things explode that were this big. They didn't seem like nothing. Anyway, after they finished, Portia Williams said that she literally watched she watched K Michelle's confessionals with her mouth like this. Like she literally opened her mouth and said, baby, I was watching all the scenes back. My face did not, I couldn't stop my face from doing this when I was watching you back. And that's because the one thing you don't do, I mean, like, you know, will make jokes about ourselves or whatever, but Kay was really, what's the word I'm looking for? She would go harder on herself than anybody did on the show, right? If you're talking about what your hot pocket smell like, nobody on the show talked about it. Not the people that you call friends or the ones you called foes. So I can understand why for someone like Portia who's watching this shit back, she's like, girl, you are really a nut, right? We all were saying that. But anyway, long story short, Andy says, let's get to the bottom of the motherfucking plot. What was the plot about? Spill it, okay? You spent half the season saying that there was a plot against you by this cast. What the fuck happened? Who did it? When, where, why, how? All of the things, right? He's playing Mr. Detective. Now, I was paying close attention to what everybody on Kate Michelle's side of the couch were doing, right? Because I wanted to see. Now, Pinky was at the very end. She didn't give a shit. You could tell that Pinky really wasn't involved that much. But when I tell you that Kelli and Shamia, they seemed like they were just like, are you going to say that we were involved? Whether they were or not, they just look guilty of something. I could be putting too much on them, but that's what it looked like to me. Because I kept saying, why do y'all, I wouldn't even pay attention to this bullshit in the way that they were. But long story short, Kay said that she said what the plot was, is that I didn't like that Drew tried to tie me to Black. That's not a plot. And Drew didn't tie you to Black. You mentioned Black first. Oh my God. I don't know. I know Andy said that he likes her and he wants her back, but this was really the biggest gaslighting lie for the audience. The one thing about Real Housewives of Atlanta versus any other show is that when you come to these reunions, you got to show up correct. You got to show up being willing to defend what the fuck happened to you in the season. Defend your position. The fact that she spun this on Drew, who literally was like, Black, I tied you to Black, girl, exactly. When did it happen? Drew shows up to a party with a man in her phone. You said hello to the man in her phone in a way that was very familiar. Not just to us, to Andy Cohen too, because he said, girl, for us, the viewing audience, you did seem like you knew this man. She said, well, I didn't. And I didn't want to be tied to him. And then after that, when we was in Dallas, she made it seem like, well, you know, Black, that's your friend. And she was like, that's not my friend. And that was the plot. That was the plot, is what this heifer said. Okay. So now Drew, who doesn't know what to say, and I don't blame her. I think Drew, I know she was going through a lot of shit this season because she's divorcing and all the stuff that was happening with her children, finding another place to live, all those things. It really grounded her in a way where, number one, I always thought Drew was very smart. She's a very smart woman. You can tell that she likes to get her licks back. Sometimes in the past for me, she was very annoying. But this time she was able to sit, listen, maybe because of the shit that was going on in her life, and just strike when she needed to strike. And she literally was sitting there making faces at this woman, at K Michelle, like, bitch, you really need other things to do in your life. And that's pretty much it. But she ends up saying to her, I don't know you. I don't know you. I didn't try to make you seem familiar with Black. All I did was say, based on what you did to me, I introduced this man on my phone to everybody. I don't even know where my phone is. I introduced this man to everybody in my phone, right? I passed them around. You said, hey, and you said hello, like you knew this man. So that's the energy I was working on. Nothing else. I don't have no problem with you, right? She's right. So after that, Drew said, or excuse me, K. Michelle says, and get this, because I was sitting there like, Andy, don't let this shit fly. But K. Michelle said, well, people in Atlanta thought that you and I were dating the same man, black, because of how you said that on the show. Because you made it seem familiar. Now, by the way, they were filming. So this is how off Kay is right now. We didn't see that shit. They were filming when this happened, but this is what she tries to make the issue. People thought we were dating because of that. Bitch, the show didn't even air yet, and nobody caught that. And I was like, oh my God. I have to assume that Andy did catch it, but nice to see you, Audie. I have to assume that Andy did catch it, but he gave her grace, because I was like, girl, that's not true. You lying your motherfucking ass off, right? But then she goes on to say, because now Miss Drew is like, why the fuck would I accuse you of dating? Aren't you married? Did you forget you were married? Why would you even concern yourself with a bullshit ass rumor when you are married? You are married. You got a ring on your finger, girl. Who gives a shit? And who was saying it? Exactly. The fact that you brought it up and made it seem like something that happened during filming was being spread around Atlanta when nobody knew about it. Kay, you had probably, when we found out you were going to be on the show, literally nothing leaked about you. We didn't even know that you got into it with Portia or anybody until they ran the trailer. That's how secret this season was. I could not believe how she sat there and lied. She lied her fucking ass off, and he did not stop her in any of the lies. And I was upset about that, mainly because, like I said, the reunion is where you come to defend your position. She wasn't defending her position properly, and you could tell that she was lying her ass off. And the way Shamia and Kelli were staring at her like, just follow the protocol, whatever that lunch or dinner was, where Shamia said Kelli was doing this shit. Y'all talked a whole lot about how to lie during this reunion, and y'all don't realize how smart the audience is. We are much smarter than that bullshit. You cannot run that type of game. That was just dumb. Anyway, Kay ends up saying, hold on, let me find my place, child. After Drew says all of that, Andy says, listen, how it appeared to him and all of the audience is that you did know him. Drew tells Kay that the whole thing caught her off guard because she was married. I said that. And then Drew ends up saying to Kay, just to let the shit die, don't do that no more. I already said I'm not dating that man. You could tell that Drew is protecting him in a way that a person should. He showed up on this show for me, not for me to have you or anybody else run him through the mud. She needed somebody to film with. He showed up for her, and she wasn't going to let Kay or anybody else run that man through the mud. And I actually appreciated Drew for that. She didn't do a whole lot. I didn't do a whole lot with him, so I'm not going to let you make him your fucking storyline. It's just not going to happen. And she's right. She's 1000% right. Okay. Anyway, Andy said, cool, let's drop that. Let's get down to this oyster business. Okay. Let's talk about Oyster Gate. Portia said, exactly. Okay. Because what the hell did I say that caused me about your oyster, right? Andy also makes mention, because now K. Michelle, you could tell she's like, oh yeah, Oyster Gate. She's kind of, trying to blow it off like it wasn't a big deal. Even though It followed her half the season. That was her main storyline. The other part of her main storyline was going after Drew for Black. Both of them dumb storylines. Anyway, Andy Cohen said, you do realize that you were the one who brought the shit up. Like, nobody said anything. I don't care if Portia was talking about oysters. Nobody said anything about your Hot Pocket smelling like an oyster. Okay? You did exactly what you feared because it became a viral moment. And then they show a post from the Jasmine brand. He's basically like, it met every major blog. Everybody was talking about it. I know I did. My girl Vanessa with the T, okay? V with the T figured out who it was about. She brought it up. So everybody was talking about it. Anyway, Kay said that she felt like it was going to be discussed, even though they didn't get a chance to discuss it. She had to strike while the iron was hot. So she just got in front of it because they definitely were going to bring it up. Now everybody on Portia's side of the couch has their face scrunched up like, is this bitch crazy? And this literally is their face throughout the entire episode. Pretty much all 3 parts of the reunion. They were just like, y'all got to be crazy. You have to be, because you are literally making up stories in order to film. That's all it was. They were making up stories in order to film. But Kay ends up swearing, get this, I swear to you, somebody told me that you guys were going to bring this up. So now Andy Cohen is like, well, let's get to the bottom of it. Who told you? Kay said, no one on this side of the couch. None of these ladies told me, right? So she takes out Shamia, Kelli, and Pinky. And then she said, it was nobody affiliated with the show. First, Andy asked, is it anybody who was affiliated with this show? She said, no. He said, it's a hair person, a makeup person, a cameraman, bitch. Who was it that told you that? Somebody in production? Who told you something like that that would make you go off for half the season against this entire side of the couch? No. So then Drew says, is it somebody who's extorting someone for money? Who's suing somebody for money, right? She says the words extorting first. And then Kay says, yes, it is someone who's extorting or suing, right? Now, when she says that, everybody takes a breath because they know exactly who it is. It's the person who Kay Michelle, I guess, is doing some sort of an ambassadorship for, right? Who also knows Black and is suing Black. So she went, oh, right. So now everybody knows. And now Andy Cohen is like, well, shit, who is it? Tell me. Portia starts telling him it's the same person who told Kay all that stuff about Black. It's that same person. And when she says that, Kay says, no, it's not that person. It's not that person. That's when Kelli pipes up. Short little bit Kelli. Andy, it's not like these ladies are, it's beneath them to make up stories and find things. Why did you need to chime in? He's trying to get to the bottom of it. That was the whole point. I want to know who told her this. Is it somebody who knows all of these ladies? And is it somebody who works for this damn TV show? Where did it come from? Okay. Is it your hair and makeup people? Let us know. There's only a few places where these kind of rumors come from. The cast itself directly, production, hair and makeup. That's who's done it in the past. So go ahead and share it, bitch. Who told you? But before he could get to the point, because he's like, I know, Kelli interjects and she bats it back to Portia's side of the couch to change the subject, to change the direction of the conversation. Good job, Kelli, because the truth of the matter is it came from y'all. It came for y'all. Why would you guys on that couch be so protective of a bullshit secret like that, that only the 4 of y'all know? Because Shamia already admitted she knew the secret. She knew who told it. She said that during the season. Hey, Erica. Happy you're here, babe. She told us during the season. when she came out in her thong in front of all the ladies and let them see her ass and was like, I need K. Michelle to clear my name and make sure everybody knows I didn't tell this story. So which one of y'all did? Which one of y'all did? You guys were having complete huddles about this dumb ass story. And K. Michelle, let's also point out that at the dinner, when they were in Dallas, it was Shamia who was going after Drew Sidora. And K. Michelle says K. Michelle says to Shamia, cut it out. Are you going to keep this shit going? She said that at the table. Shamia, you are going to keep this shit going. Cut it out. Leave that girl alone. We remember her saying that. And then after that dinner, and Shamia's like, oh, okay. After that dinner, nothing ever went right between K. Michelle and the rest of those ladies. So you took a phone call in Dallas. Somebody told you that dumb shit. And for the rest of your time filming, you could never get right. And all of those ladies look like they swallowed a canary. They 1000% did. That's just what it looked like. This is grown folks who have children. So go on ahead and get out what you need to get out, girl. Glaze, I said the same thing. I said, baby girl, there was a recipe for taking a bath with vinegar. Maybe you should, write down the notes because, bitch, you can't make anybody feel a way about that unless you really do have a problem. It's just the facts. Be grown, especially when it's coming from an ugly motherfucker like whoever that guy was that said it. Okay? Who cares? Anyway, after she denies that it was the girl who's going after Black, like I said, Kelli makes her little comment. Kay ends up telling a dumb story about how the way it happened, it was on the bus, and Drew said that she was cooking fish for Thanksgiving. And Drew said, I'm sorry. And what does that mean to you? Like, why can't I say I'm cooking fish for Thanksgiving? Who gives a fuck? I didn't know I had to be, walking on eggshells around anything that smells or tastes like fish. Who gives a fuck? Anyway, Portia said, and then it goes, and then when Portia was at the restaurant and she said, these oysters aren't taint. These oysters are fine. They're not taint. She was like, that's when I knew that it all went down like that, right? Angela looks at K. Michelle and said, baby girl, listen, I'm not going to let you think you crazy because my first season, I went through the same thing. I came in thinking I'm just going to put all my business out there, put it on the table. And by the time we got to the end of the season, I was half-ass crazy. I tried to make a circle fit into a square. I kept blaming Phaedra for every damn thing, thinking she was trying to, mess up my marriage and all that shit. She said, so I'm not even going to do you like that. I know exactly what went down. We sisters where this is concerned, basically. So at the end of the day, they gave her a pass. That's all you can ask for. I understand. We're going to move on. Good for them. Good for K. Michelle, because that is hard. And all the girls on Portia's side of the couch is basically like, girl, we get it. We forgive you. Even Drew gave a story about, you know what? It's really hard to come into a group like this where, sisterhood should be at the forefront. And then you have people from the outside trying to break that shit up. So, just don't let that happen again. Don't let the outside noises get to what we got going on in the inside. So they all gave her good advice. It was really sweet. It was really nice. Anyway, Portia said that she's been a K. Michelle fan since the beginning and that she hopes that she can move on with her because she's been rooting for her. She also, and then K. Michelle also said, let me put this out here. K. Michelle, after Andy Cohen said, well, it looks like you had a lot of outside voices that was affecting your friendship in the group. Do you think that guy that used to date both you and Portia also may have been lying to disrupt your sisterhood, your friendships with these ladies? K. Michelle said absolutely, 100% he did. He was telling me all kinds of things about her. How true that is, I don't know. I saw that boring ass interview that man did. He looked like he just wanted to be out of it. If he was lying to K. Michelle about stuff that was going on with Portia, Kay should have known that man was a liar. That's what I think. Because whatever he told her versus the shit he said in that interview was two different planets entirely. But anyway, Portia said, I'm gonna let the shit go. I don't even care. I told you it was a lie when he said it. Okay. Look, she said, I don't believe Kay. It was a lot. Her segment was a lot because I kept saying, none of this sounds true. And it's unfortunate because we can read through this. We know it's not true. But Portia ends up saying, bitch, I'm going to let bygones be bygones. I know it was bullshit. We've all had a season where we had to, fluff some shit up. Okay. But she said, at the end of the day, I'm a K. Michelle fan. I still root for her. And that pisses Shamia off. So she's like, well, I'm glad you can move on with her. But in your interview, you said that Kay picked the wrong team, like there was an alliance. So what did you mean by that? What did you mean when you pulled Kay, Michelle, and Pinky aside and told them that you required loyalty? That's what Kay Michelle said at the very beginning of the reunion, that you told her that throughout the entire season. What did you mean by that? If she's loyal to you, then she can't be what? Friends with anybody else? Isn't that what Kay Michelle said? And she flipped the script by the time we get to the end of the goddamn season of this reunion? Absolutely. You were asking them to be loyal to you. You were asking for alliances. But anyway, Portia said, what I meant by that is them over there, y'all. Y'all, because you're the one who started it, girl. Okay. Not to mention, girl, that Portia said you were the main one on the show saying that you're not like the other girls, referring to all of us, who keeps calling her a liar and delusional and how she hates the world. You were referring to us. You were basically trying to isolate that girl and make her think, and Portia already said this to her before. So why Shamia is bringing this up like, oh, gotcha, bitch. No, she already told you. You were trying to isolate her. And you were. Everything that she said and you said on the show pointed that out. Anyway, after that, Shamia said, when did I say that? When did I say that she's a liar and that the other girls? And Angela butts in and said, you said it in Dallas. You said it in Dallas. And she did say it was on camera. But Shamia forgets what she says. I don't even know if she watches the season back. It's just a small thing you should do. Etch it in your mind because it's a part of the job. It's like taking a test, right? I would think so. I would think so. I would think you watch the season back so that you know how to answer questions at the reunion. You've lived that shit. It's probably 100 lifetimes away. Watch it. Watch everybody else's business so that you know how to answer the question. Not Shamia. It's really giving Sweet Tea vibes. Only Sweet Tea actually knew what was going on during the season. I'm going to give her that. But when everybody was saying, girl, just watch the show back. So these are the episodes. You ain't even got to watch every one so that you know how to handle yourself. That's Shamia, this entire reunion. It was so bothersome. Anyway, after they say it was in Dallas and in Scotland, girl, and every place else, you were desperately asking these ladies not to engage with us. That was the thing. Anyway, Shamia says, I was saying that I didn't think you were crazy, Kay. I was just saying that I didn't think you were crazy. Or on Ambien, right? Now, when she says or on Ambien, producers play a never seen before footage. We didn't see it as the audience. And guess what? Shamia wasn't there. I want to point that out for everybody who keep acting like Shamia don't have friends in production, because the bitch brought it up on this couch. And how would she know that if she wasn't there at the same dinner with those ladies? The three people that weren't there was Shamia, Kelli, Pinky wasn't there either, and K. Michelle. So 4 people. We remember that dinner. They were all laughing and making jokes. On this couch, Samia said, I didn't say she was on Ambien. And then production plays the footage and it says, never before seen footage. That you remember, but nothing else you remember, right? And Portia's like, we never said that. It was Phaedra. Phaedra said she could be taking too much Ambien. I want to point this out for everybody who act like this is Shamia's first rodeo. Don't ask me who she knows, but somebody, a cameraman, somebody over there definitely told her that shit. And I thought it was real cute that they played it and then marked it unseen footage. Never before seen. Cool. 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 Anyway, Andy asked Drew and K. Michelle if they can, lay their burdens down, child. Y'all gonna fight each other for the rest of the show or not? Can we get to the next season, okay? Anyway, they both said, yeah, that's cool. Next up, we have Kelli. Kelli is asked by a fan of the show if she feel like Shamia's rebound BFF, if she's there to replace Portia. Kelli said no. She said no, and since season 16, because she's really admitting that's when her and Shamia became good friends, since season 16, they've been building their relationship and that she can really count on Shamia, right? Kelli was also asked what she thought about frickin' frack. She said, listen, you've been calling these ladies frickin' frack. You've been insulting them. So why did you ask Phaedra, aka Frack, to represent you against your husband in court? That's when Kelli said, I didn't ask Phaedra nothing. She offered to help me, okay? And then Andy said, well, why did you accept? Because if you don't like her, you don't like her. If you don't like her, you don't trust her. That you don't put something as sensitive as that, things that you have to fight with for your family, your children, money in your pocket. You don't ever put that in the hand of somebody you don't like. So you don't like and you don't trust. So why did you let Phaedra handle your case? So now Kelli says, listen, I want to make one thing clear. And she starts adjusting herself and shit like she had something real big to say, right? And then she says, Phaedra, everybody thinks that Phaedra gave me free services. I paid Phaedra's team as if Phaedra's name isn't on the outside of that damn building. That's her law firm. She is a partner with one other person, maybe 2, but that's her shit. The way she said, I paid Phaedra's team and took Phaedra out of it. Knowing the only reason why those people were helping her is because Phaedra asked. Girl, and Phaedra was the lawyer who was standing out there talking to the press about her ass. Kelli, let me finish this first. Anyway, she basically said she gave them $10,000 for anybody who thinks she's just getting free services. So Phaedra, who, she's cool as a cucumber, because at this point, Phaedra has already sent a memo on break. Don't answer another fucking phone call, a text message, a DM, a damn nothing that comes into this office from Kelli Potter. As of this moment, our services are completely over, okay? And I don't fucking blame her. But you're not going to sit here and treat me like I didn't do a good fucking job for you. But Phaedra says, listen, the billable hours for you was well over 60,000, and that was the friend discount. Okay, she mumbled that, but the other ladies on the couch said, not the friend discount, baby. She said that was the discount. So now Kelli, who didn't hear it, she's like, what is a discount? I wasn't a discount. And she said, no, she said your ass got a friendship discount. Okay, it was over 60,000, and then because you got the friendship discount, it was probably way more than that. Could have been 120,000. We don't know. We don't know. But now Kelli tries to discount Phaedra, and she says, at the end of the day, either way you look at it, whether it was a discount or not, I paid that firm $10,000. Okay? Not to mention, she didn't even have that much work to do. What? She didn't even have that much work to do. And she goes on to say, I paid my other attorney $250,000. They had taken care of the footwork, and then I guess she passed it off to Phaedra. Phaedra said, we didn't take any work from that other office. And she's not lying, Kelli, because that $250,000 price tag is the same price tag you quoted in season 16 when you said that's how much it took your ass to get divorced from that man. That's all you paid that lady, if you paid her. You might have put her in your bankruptcy. I don't know if you filed for bankruptcy. One of the reasons why she wasn't your lawyer anymore, I'm sure, is because you didn't pay all your fucking bills. But the fact that you quoted that same amount of money last year, last season, and put it here like you dropped another 250, you're a liar. You are lying. You are ungrateful. Oh my goodness, you are an embarrassment. And I know that you are a Pisces child, but I don't know any Pisces that work like that. I've never seen it. I've never seen it in my life. You are a special breed. Okay? One thing I can say for sure, if you help a Pisces, they are loyal to you, sometimes to a fault. Sometimes even when you fucking up and you shouldn't have their loyalty or friendship, they will still be loyal to you. They still feel like they have to see you through some shit. The fact that you sat on that couch and told that lady to kiss your fucking ass after she won your shit, put that man in jail, and he had to stay there until he coughed up $30,000. And for a long time, his stubborn ass said, you know what, I ain't giving that bitch shit. What is this, week 8? I've been in here for 8 weeks. Okay. No bread, no water. He was on a damn a starvation diet trying to get himself up out of there. And then finally he said, fuck it, and paid you that 30K in child support, child. You are a nasty number, Kelli. Nasty. Okay. I thought that was hilarious. I'm telling you now, I've never seen anything like that. The way that girl turned on Phaedra. And I said this last week in my review. If y'all listen to me, I said Kelli is going to turn on Shamia. Kelli is ungrateful. She did it to Britt because she did not like that Britt's, what was it? She had a stylist, whoever that stylist is. His name is Paris something. Anyway, he's a great stylist. He's an amazing stylist. But I guess Kelli thought she was giving him to Britt to use for a few days or for one event, and they hit it off, and he ended up, being friends with Britt. And Kelli didn't like it, and that was the full breakdown of how their friendship ended. Like, that was it. And I remember thinking, who does that? Is there more to this? And now that I know that Kelli is such a petty, she is a crappy bitch. She's crappy. Now that I know how crappy Kelli is, she's going to turn on Shamia. Just give her a second. Just give her a second, because that girl has no loyalty at all whatsoever. Okay? Hey, Teresa girl. Nice to have you, friend. You said she turned on Britt with the donations as well. Yes. And I'm telling y'all, at least none of the Pisces I know have done that. Pisces usually will give their last of something. They always expect the best out of somebody. The way Kelli is just striking at people for no damn reason, people who have helped her and want to see her win, is shocking to me. She's on another level. She's on another level. I don't know. Maybe she was born during a retrograde, child, and she ain't really underneath the Pisces sign. That's what I'm assuming. I don't know. You said she is very crappy. She is. She's a crappy person. Okay. But anyway, and she's miserable. Let's put that out there too. Anyway, Phaedra sucked it up because she already, like I said, during break, she had already sent out the memo. Not one person better call Kelly. Send that bitch back her file. Okay, we don't even want her to call up here and tell us to transfer nowhere. Go on ahead, put that shit in a manila folder and send it back to her ass, okay? Now Phaedra is on the stage. She's feeling away. Even though Phaedra was not breaking a sweat for anybody, she said what she said, and she said this to Kelly. She said, bitch, I've been a good friend to you. Anytime you've called me, I have picked up my phone. You ain't never went to voicemail. When it comes to me, that's basically what she told her. She said, I have given you great advice about your restaurants, legal advice, basically. You couldn't even call your good friend Pinky Cole about those damn restaurants. Now Pinky feels like she done got swatted, and she absolutely did. But Pinky's up here, I've given her advice. I've given her advice. What she's telling you, Pinky, is that you own restaurants, correct? That's part of your career, your businesses for a very long time. She said that Kelly never picked up the phone to call you. She called her though, and she answered every time. And even though Phaedra's not in the restaurant business, she gave her good advice, and clearly advice she took in order to get her shit right. Like I said, we know Kelly doesn't have a lawyer now because she has lost how many court cases so far? How many court cases so far since that shit done aired? Kelly done lost against Gary. I think there's a young lady named, I think her name is Portia too. Portia DeShannon. Anyway, she was over there singing that damn Shaka Khan song. I think it's Shaka Khan or Whitney Houston, one of them, going into the courthouse. She said, I'm about to get paid right after Gary. So, and that was one of her employees, a student who was trying to, put her way through college. And you took her damn money. I heard it was like $20,000. So at the end of the day, that floored me. But baby, the way Kelly is okay with lightning striking her wherever she is. Oh my goodness, girl, you got kids. This is a no-no. Anyway, now we are on to Shamia. Shamia is asked about Rum Bum, and she confirms that the deal is dead. No hope for revival. We already knew that. Andy Cohen then moves on to Drew Sidora and said, baby, why did you expose that Kelly's restaurant, the one that she advertised here on the show for its grand opening, also closed within the same year? And that's when Kelly says, cause she's a loser. She said, Drew lives in Duluth, pretending like she was getting breakfast for kids she don't even have. Again, Kelly, leave Drew's kids the fuck alone. Leave her alone as a mother who is going through it with her kids, period. The way Kelly, I don't know what was going on here, but I would have choked her. Kelly wouldn't have been able to say that to me. Oh, well, kids you don't even have. Girl. So now Drew is like, I do have my kids. And you can hear the rest of the couch erupt. Keep your fucking mouth off of people's kids. That's the problem with your ass now. Y'all do this all the time. We said do not talk about kids. And clearly this is something that they have shared on the reunion. I mean, during filming period, because Andy even mentions it later. We're going to talk about it, but Andy even mentions it later as an aside. Now, if I'm not mistaken, with Nene Leakes, it was Sheree who thought she was doing her big one about kids, and Nene Leakes, and everybody said, everybody keep your fucking mouth off kids. I don't care what it is. If you're not saying she's beautiful, then shut the fuck up. And I agree at this point. No kid talk for y'all. But you said Drew should have jumped over there. I almost wanted to jump over there, and I'm watching TV. I was like, girl, you asking for it. Anyway, the entire couch, only Portia's couch, but that whole couch is like, keep your mouth off of people's kids. We done told you this already, right? Drew ends up saying, I did have my kids. And she goes on to say that I never had an issue with Kelly. We shouldn't even have an issue. However, last year during that whatever charity event that she had at one of them stores at the mall,
She said, ever since then, she has come after me. And I don't even understand why. This shouldn't even be that big a deal. And I said, exactly, not for a broke bitch. And I'm not saying that because y'all know how I feel about people saying who's broke and who's not. Who cares? Everybody at this point with the economy we got and who's in office, we should all be counting our goddamn pennies. But the bottom line is someone like Kelli who needs a handout all the time, everybody here has been handing her something, food, clothing, housing. She should shut the fuck up when it comes to other people's pockets. She loves to talk about other people's stuff and who's broke. And it's weird. She's a weirdo. Anyway, when she realized she can't win, she does what she does best, okay? Because now you hear Angela on the other side of the couch. She says something to Kelli because she's tired of her trying to make everybody seem broke, right? She was like, you didn't buy anything. You didn't do anything for charity. Even Angela says that. And I think Angela was like, bitch, with your broke ass, you please, okay? But that's when you hear Kelli scream out, Portia, get your go naked models. Now she thinks she's dogging them about uh, having a hairline, right? And Portia said they're doing just fine, right? Cynthia's like, now wait a minute now, bitch. I got to, you know what I'm saying? I'm Cynthia Bailey. Cynthia High Cheekbone Bailey, but you're not going to reduce me to being a go naked model. Cynthia, don't even worry about that because truly what's her problem is that she's jealous. Her business opened during the show and closed during the same damn season. Portia's business, Go Naked Hair, has been in existence for quite a while. And then she added you and Drew to the mix. And her shit expanded by leaps and bounds. Okay? Everybody wants a wig. I damn near bought I almost bought one. Okay, that Cynthia Bailey one that she had crimped up and she had her stylist do. I said, bitch, I wish I could find that stylist so he could dye it and personalize it for me. Okay. Only reason why I didn't is because I couldn't get it personalized. But that shit was fly. It was fire. And the only reason why she's mad is because her shit is closed and y'all's aren't. You are making money hand over fist, and you should be proud of it. Okay. Like Portia said. They're doing just fine. Doing just fine. Okay? Anyway, Portia adds that Drew and Cynthia, look, I already said that, my bad. Kelli tells Drew that she's being a golden retriever. Now this is her time to say, you're being a golden retriever. You're a lap dog. I don't even know if a golden retriever is a lap dog. I think they're big ass dogs. Angela said, you got new teeth and nowhere to sleep, you broke bitch. Now, when she said that, Andy Cohen was so tickled. You can tell that he almost wanted to slide out of his fucking chair. He looked over. He looked over at Angela and he was giggling. He is definitely, that's some shit he is going to be talking about at dinner with his new boyfriend. You feel me? That Angela floors him. And it made her so upset. Kelli was so embarrassed. She was so embarrassed. So now she is talking so high that her voice is at least 5 octaves. You cannot hear what she's saying. Andy's screaming, I need both of you guys to stop. Okay, just stop. Cut it out. Cut it out. Then you hear Kelli screech. You won't make them stop, Andy. You can't make them stop. Make them stop. And he looks at Kelli and said, and you won't stop either. He chastised her like she was a damn kid. Kelli was humiliated. She throws her hands like this and puts her face to the side. Shamia looked at her like, I am so sorry, friend. Shamia said, I'm so sorry, friend. You could tell that she was like really trying to like give her a look like, bitch, don't you do that. Andy was reading. When he told her that, I hollered. I said, girl, you're the only one who doesn't know that Andy don't like you. Okay? You're the only one who don't know that. Get it together, girl. Anyway, I already told y'all, Andy doesn't have patience for that shit. Them kids be running Andy through there. Now they talk about Kelli not having any place to stay. And I need y'all to correct me in the comments if I am wrong. But Kelli says, I got to get this straightened out too. I didn't even want to stay at Shamia's house. She had to beg me. And then Shamia's like, yes, I did. I had to beg her to stay there. She didn't want to stay there. I stayed there for 2 weeks until my other place, that my permanent place was ready. And Andy's like, oh, okay. So this is another situation where they are gaslighting the audience, because the way the scene played out, Kelli, you said your neighbor had filed a restraining order on you. At least I think that's how I remember it. Anyway, we know that there was a restraining order filed. Even if you denied it, it was filed. And your ass had to get up out them townhouses that you were renting, because that's what it is. The community said, bitch, you got to go. So you had to leave on an emergency situation. And I don't know if it was 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, but the way you guys played it was like she was going to be living there for a while, because you had a conversation with your mama about it. And she actually says, I don't want you living all the way out here because I'm not going to be able to see the kids. Now, if it was only for 2 fucking weeks, you could have given the kids to your mother, because it sounds like she has a very active life with those children. If it was just for 2 weeks, you could have stayed at, what's his name? Jarvis's house, because you was fucking him. He done bought you those teeth. That's the least you can do, is give you a place to stay for a little while, and you get the kids to your mama's house. But you made it seem like you were going to be there for a very long time. I don't understand why that was a scene, and I don't want this to happen next year. If all of these ladies are given a contract and they accept, do not give us these bullshit scenes to discuss, because there was nothing on Shamia's side of the couch that was worthy of conversation. It was so dumb. Okay? There was 1,000 options that you could have taken. You could have slept at one of those damn restaurants, okay? For 2 weeks. But going into Shamia's house, doing a walkthrough, having a conversation with your mama like she wasn't going to get to see the kids at all. Oh, I won't get to see them that much. She literally had like a heartbreak there. Oh, you're so phony. I don't know. It was too much. I want them not to do this anymore. Get it to them some kind of way. This was horrible for y'all. Anyway, and not just for Kelli, Shamia too. Both of you, and who's the other one? K. Michelle. The three of y'all, worst season ever in regards to how you presented yourselves, both on this reunion and on the show. At least Pinky stayed with her story. She was solid in her story. She didn't make it anything more or anything less, and I appreciated that. Anyway, Andy Cohen then asked Kelli why she didn't ask her boyfriend to only spend $40,000 on her teeth and give her the $30,000 so that she could do other things with it, pay her bills, find a place to stay, whatever it happens to be. Because we all know that her financial situation is a dark black pit. And Kelli said, who's to say that I didn't? You are to say that you didn't. Your outfit, the current outfit that you are wearing, suggests that you didn't ask your boyfriend for a little extra change so that you didn't look like Glinda the motherfucking good witch. Absolutely. Yes, you're telling us you don't have it. Your clothes all season long in confessional, that black outfit, the fucking shiny pleather that had greasy fingerprints all over it. Oh my goodness. The t-shirt, the fact that when you kick your legs up, you have no panties on and you are flashing everybody on production. Have your boyfriend buy you a good pair of underwear if he got it like that. The fact that you don't wear a bra. There's so many things that's going on with you, Kelli, that suggest you ain't got it like that at all. Okay, girl. So anyway, after she told that lie, that was Andy Cohen's way to let that go. Drew is over there singing Delulu. She put at least 18 loos on that motherfucker. Okay, before she got to the Jano. Because yes, we both know that. We all could see it. Anyway, next up, Andy Cohen asked Kelli and Jamia about the cleanliness of the room when they were in Dallas. He said, y'all had to know that that was not Cynthia Bailey's fault. She came on the same bus that y'all did. She laid eyes on that place for the first time at the same time y'all did, right? So you know that wasn't her fault. Why did you guys punish her and not go to dinner to prove your point? This is Andy Cohen's question. Not a bad question. Actually, a very good question. Shamia says, the rooms were filthy and we couldn't shower. Okay? And then she said when she watched the shit back, she could not believe Cynthia's reaction. I was like, she's really upset and she's blaming this on us. Again, this is Shamia's twisted memory of things. She didn't do that at first. At first, she went to you guys. She asked you what was wrong. She asked, how can I make it right? She went into the kitchen and said, can you please take dinner out to the pool? Everything that we get at the same time, deliver it to the pool. She was kind. She was gracious. She was apologetic. When Pinky Cole came after her, she said, I don't even know why I'm getting this kind of smoke from you, because that didn't come from the ladies at all. Cynthia was so cool with it that most people wouldn't be, right? But when we found out that K. Michelle didn't even go to dinner, she knew she wasn't going to dinner because her glam team wasn't there and she wasn't comfortable yet. You could have used her bathroom. You could have shared a bathroom with somebody else, because from what I'm understanding, there was 11 or more bathrooms at that facility. And the fact that you are lying on this stage right now, Shamia, and made it seem like she came for you when Cynthia did not buck until you were on that bus and she point blank said to you, are you trying to make me lose my brand deal, knowing that the reason why all of us are in this house is because I am at work and you are trying to embarrass me and the people that I am working for. And she had a problem with it and she called your ass out for it, and she should have. You didn't have any problem rolling your eyes at your wonderful husband when he told those people on the phone for the rum bum, this is a horrible fucking deal. I'm crunching the numbers. None of this shit is panning out. And I don't think this is right for Shamia. And you were sitting there, oh, he's trying to kill my deal. I got to get on a plane. Yes. You see how pissed you got when it had to do with your raggedy ass business? She said the same thing to you. And she didn't mince words. She didn't try to make it confusing. She said, don't say another word. Are you trying to kill my business? And she had every right to say it. Period. Just like your little friend Kelli was all upset about Drew going up to her damn business with her cell phone, showing that there was a padlock on the door. Shamia makes me angry. She makes me mad. I don't even want to get that mad with Shamia because I'm not sure yet what I'm watching, because everybody says that she's such a great person. It upsets me that she pretends to be this slow if she's so quick and if she's so great and if she got all this stuff going on. Why would she do that? Why does she turn everything into her being a victim? That's not cool, especially Shamia, since when you guys were on that damn bus before y'all got there, y'all took a stop at a truck stop to take a piss, and you got off of that bus and then took a cup that people drink coffee out of, and in front of the camera, Jesus Christ and everybody, you demonstrated how you pissed in a cup to show your survival skills. You said your family business, your money, family money comes from trucking. So you know a thing or two about how to take care of yourself. And yet you couldn't ask someone to borrow their damn shower inside of a mansion? Bullshit. Y'all want to know why I don't like Shamia? It's because of stuff like this, because she has two different personalities, maybe more. She got as many personalities as K Michelle. She just doesn't flip out like that. Like, there's something wrong though up here. I mean, come on, girl. And I mean, that was just in the same day Shamia demonstrated pissing in a cup. In the same day. It wasn't even a week ago. It was the same day.
My family is from Truck, and that's a family money.
Okay, girl. Okay, that's fine. Cool. I would know how to ask somebody if I could borrow a shower. I'm not going to walk around stinky after a long ass bus ride. Just isn't going to happen. Arrested Development. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. I'm going to tell you something. People with a lot of money, they get away with a lot of shit. They can have horrible personalities, cringe-worthy personalities. They can do horrible shit. And people will put them at the very top of the moon and blow all the smoke up there. If that girl lost everything she had tomorrow, those people would not fuck with her. None of them. Everybody who's singing her praise. I love me some Shamia. For what? The girl's crazy. She's crazy. Oh my goodness. Anyway, get this, Shamia tells 50 Cent, somebody who's been on the show for over a decade, well, we are filming a show, because everybody wants to know, why didn't you take your ass to dinner? Well, you were filming. It wasn't like you rejected filming. You continued to film. You just did it by the pool. Well, we are filming a show. Exactly. Which is why you should have got your ass dressed and went to the dinner table with everybody else. Phony baloney. She's so phony. She's so phony. Anyway. We also find out that Shamia's surrogate lost the baby shortly after the first term, which I do feel bad for her for, because I know there was a whole lot on her stress-wise. I'm giving her another shot for season 18, because she did say she was coming back, assuming that maybe the baby thing was like the stress that was messing up the mind, because stress does fuck up your mind. And that's a fact. I remember when I lost my mama, I was doing some crazy shit. That's no lie. I don't even recognize that person. When people tell me stuff, I'm like, girl, why didn't you help me? Why didn't you help me? Why didn't you take me to the doctor? You know what I'm saying? So sometimes stuff like that does happen. So I'm going to, fingers crossed, hope that she comes up out of this shit, because I don't see what everybody else see. I just don't. But despite it all, after she tells everybody that her surrogate was not able to carry the baby to term, Andy Cohen apologizes. They all apologize to her. Everybody on that couch, except for Portia, who looks down. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to, I know this is a moment for her. She was crying. Portia does look down. I got the impression that she probably didn't know what to say, but she chose not to say anything, because if it wasn't going to be received, it would have caused more problems. You know what I'm saying? So if she said something and Kelli piped in, for instance, I could see how that would put you on the other side of the fence. So Portia just managed to say nothing. And I don't even blame her for that, considering the history that is very recent for them, right? However, Andy Cohen asked how Gerald was doing, because he knows that he really wanted this son, this male child. And I'm going to say this. Everybody, there has been a whole lot of think pieces, a whole lot of people from Kenya who have said it is very important for this man to have a male child. It is a part of the culture. It is what it is. We've all heard it said a million gazillion times. But Shamia says, with tears in her eyes, it was hurtful. I don't know what I can do. You know, if I can get another embryo. You certainly can get another embryo, baby. What do you mean? Whether your body can produce another embryo, or if you can get a donor embryo? I don't know. what you would need is a donor egg, because I'm assuming that Gerald would want his DNA to be a part of this child. But she says it in a way, again, that keeps your mind scrambled, and if you don't know, then you don't even know what's happening. But she says embryo. We are under the impression that you can't do IVF anymore. And where would the embryo come from if you're looking for it to be Gerald's DNA? It would need to be an egg that you're looking for. The second thing is, and you're crying, is Shamia, you did make it seem like Gerald was pressuring you. Again, you forgot what you said. You got on the phone. I don't know if it was with your mama. Maybe you said it twice with your mama then. One time on the phone, you were talking to someone. Another, you said it to your mother. I don't know if I am ready to have another. I am afraid. I love my babies, but I don't want another child that may have a disability. You said it. You said it. Anyway, moving on. Now they talk about Angela and her daughter, Amari. Y'all know Angela's daughter is married to a woman. She's in a same-sex relationship. Angela said that Andy Cohen said, listen, there's a whole lot of think pieces on the internet that's basically saying that you are homophobic. You have a problem with your daughter being in a same-sex marriage. What's going on with you? You know, Andy got to get to the bottom of anything that has to do with this, right? And Angela said, I know, I had no idea that I came across that way. I love my daughter, okay? I know exactly who my daughter is. She came out to me when she was 12 years old, and I told her then. I went and bought some coming out cookies, okay? We gonna get these chocolate chips and whatever else and let you know, baby, you can love whoever you want to love. I am okay with that. And actually, her saying that gave me chills, because I love to see parents support their children through those tough things on television like that. But what she did say to clarify everything, and it shows us sometimes stuff don't always, it's not always how it appears, right? But she says to her, to us, the viewers, Amari's wife, before she was her wife, used to live with me and Charles, our family. I love that girl. I love Amari. My problem is that her in-laws don't love Amari. They don't have the same respect for her. She has to leave the house that she shares with her wife when they are coming to visit. They don't tolerate her in any way, shape, or form. And I can't even imagine how that must feel for Angela. I have a new member in the house, Sonji D4. Thank you, baby, for becoming a member and supporting the channel. I appreciate you so much. Okay, I appreciate having another cousin in the back. Okay, we got some stuff to do back there in a couple of weeks, child. When Love and Mayor Huntsville come on, we gonna be talking back there almost every day. Okay, but anyway, she ends up telling us that her daughter is not loved or respected, and a daughter that's not loved or respected, she's also not protected. And that makes all of the sense in the world as to why she was angry with Amari, as to why she was angry with her partner, and also saying, you went behind my back, like as a mother of this young daughter, even though she's in her 20s, but as a mother, you want to protect her, right? You want to stop her from making bad decisions. So she said, listen, this lady snuck my daughter off knowing how tight we were to make her marry her, and also knowing that her parents don't even like her, does not like my daughter. And that has to be fearful. That there has to be some fear there. You know what I'm saying? I would expect. I know that my mama used to say to me, don't ever go nowhere where the parents don't like you. If they don't like you, anything goes. Anything goes. Anything can happen to you, baby. And I mean, if you want me to go to prison, if you want me to go to prison, okay, but don't take your ass over there. I would think that's the same deal. Yes, I think so. I agree with you. I agree with you. I agree with you. You said you're a Pisces. Yes, baby. I know a Pisces. I told you I Have a lot of Pisces in my family. Anyway, anyway, she ends up telling that story and it just made a world of sense. And I understand her. She said, "Look, at the end of the day, I love my daughter. We have a lifetime to love on each other." I also understand that they were best friends. She said, I gave Amari everything. She had her when she was 18. She only went to the best schools. She's traveled the world. She said she wasn't supposed to get married as a baby. She was supposed to explore and find things out for herself. The way she is right now, it sounds like she is living a very restricted life. If she has to leave her home, a place that's supposed to be safe for her, in order not to deal with people who aren't safe for her. That's bad. That's bad. I think everybody agrees with that, right? Yes. Of course you do. Of course you do. Anyway, Cynthia also joins in and says, listen, Angela is my ace, period, on this show. One of the reasons we bonded so closely is because we both have daughters who are, lesbian women, and they love who they love, and we love them, and we wanted the best for them. And Cynthia said, if my daughter did not invite me, got married behind my back, I would be devastated. I would be devastated. And I agree. I agree. So, yes, at the end of the day, I think they did a great job of explaining what happened. We had several scenes with Angela and her daughter this season. We got to see her with Charles. Charles was at the reunion supporting his wife. Okay, yet again, she was there. We know that Portia's woman was with, I believe Sway was there. If I'm not mistaken. I thought I saw pictures. Sway was taking pictures of her in the back with her dress on. So I'm sure she was there. I'm sure she was there. Pretty much everybody who had somebody was there except for Shamia. Gerald was not there. And I told you guys that. You said, I love Angela. I love her too. I love her too. Amari's wife reminds me of my uncle-in-law who did not like my aunt. He would try to get my aunt to go against the family. Yeah, that's hard. That's hard. I know a lot of people have hard relationships with their in-laws anyway, but I would be real scared for my daughter. You don't know what people have in their heads to do to you. You just don't. And life is hard enough. And the fact that Charles was okay with, Amari and her girlfriend at the time staying with them, living with them, with their other young children, that tells us that they are a real tight family unit. They're really tight family. That's exactly what Angela said. We're tight. That's the reason why I wanted her to tell her sisters and brother, because they already know, kids know what's up. But when you're hiding things from them, it also encourages the younger children to lie. And whether you think so or not, they remember and do what you do as an adult. I'm going to lie because I see you lie. It's just what it is. Tell people what's up. And hit my like button. Thank you. I appreciate you, girl. I don't know why people don't hit my like button. I think something happened and people start telling people not to fuck with me, but y'all do. Y'all just don't hit the like button for whatever reason. Hit the like button, baby. It helps my algorithm, and it also helps my channel. And thank you. I appreciate you, Fran. Anyway, after all of that, Pinky has asked for receipts. Pinky says, I want receipts on the wife in the basement, Angela. You said that shit. I want to know where it came from, right? And Angela said, listen, I heard it from somebody that you like to swim in the lady pond. Pinky said, but I already admitted to that. Well, you admitted to that after Angela implied it, okay? That's number one. But she was like, I admitted to it, so what's the big deal? Girl, whatever. Angela said, I got the same information about you swimming in the lady pond that you got about my husband not liking me. So let's call it even Steven, and you just move on, child, with your big belly. Now we are on to Shamia's package. Cool. They run the tape for the season. Everything was horrible about Shamia for the most part. Shamia was a victim of everybody.
You hear in the tape both Pinky and K Michelle, because I'm going to bring this back up, basically saying there's something else wrong with Shamia. It's not just the group. She has conflict with all of these ladies, but there's something more going down, right? Anyway, Andy Cohen, when they finish the package, he ends up saying to Shamia, listen, did you expect to be the center of conflict for every single one of these ladies? And Shamia said no, because at the beginning of the season, I owned my shit. Now, while she's saying this, everyone on the other side of the couch are literally looking at her like, when did you do this? We did not see this take place. Well, I don't know if she's talking about that apology she gave with her mother sitting there. She did it on video. There was music playing in the background. It was awful. And I can see why nobody thought it to be serious, especially if y'all don't know who she is for real. I don't know. But everybody basically called bullshit on it. Shamia said at the end of the day, y'all were calling me a lapdog, but the truth of the matter is all of y'all are lap dogs. Y'all was fighting other people's battles. Instead of saying Portia directly, she says other people's. Who are the other people? Furthermore, I need examples of when anybody on that couch interjected to fight Portia's battle against you. I would love to hear it, because Portia ignored your ass the entire season. She played you like you were a wall, girl. She barely looked at you. Until y'all went to Scotland, that was the first time Portia was engaging you for real, and it was actually very cordial. She was laughing, joking. She bought you shit at a store when you asked her to. You was definitely setting her up for the okie doke, because you had a horrible fucking season. And I said this at the beginning when I watched the Scotland episode. I said Shamia needed something that would help her get a contract for the next season. You did it to get a contract because your season was crap. That's what I think, because she didn't say anything that would have warranted that mess. But anyway, we didn't see any of it. Nobody asked any questions, period. They let it go. Pinky said that Shamia, she knows prior to RHOA was bubbly and the life of the party, and everybody wants to be her friend. But Shamia on this show is a dark cloud. Now, when she was talking all kinds of life into Shamia, Shamia was sitting there like glee in her eyes with a smile on her face. And Andy goes, aw, which actually made me laugh. He was like, aw, right? But she said, here she's a dark cloud. Shamia said, the dark clouds are on the other couch. And everybody again is like, girl, what did we do to you? Because they didn't do anything. I don't care what y'all say. She was never squeezed out. She was invited to everything they had going on. They always talked to her. They always laughed with her. They did not squeeze her out. Anyway, Andy reads another cue card, and he said, this viewer wants to know if you're taking any responsibility for all of the problems that you were involved in this season. Are you taking any responsibility for that? Thank you, one who cares. Shamia said that she did take responsibility for the mess that she started, like the one that was between me and Drew. I feel vindicated because nobody was giving me my credit when I said exactly this. But Shamia said, I started it with Drew first. I came to Drew and I said to Drew, or what's being said is that I asked if you was effing Dennis. I didn't say it quite like that, but I'll take it. I'll take responsibility for that. You definitely said, you definitely said that they were holding hands, dressed alike, hugged up at the club. And I told y'all then that there are a lot of adults in Atlanta that dress alike, couples. I've seen it myself. I've never dressed like my partner. Never. I've never dressed like him, but I've seen that here. So it's a thing. It might not be for everybody, but there are some people. So you did imply that they was humping.
You said that they look real intimate. And then you said that people have been sending it to you on your phone. It definitely strongly implied it. Everybody thought it. The way everybody came after Portia Williams last year, you don't believe that shit? She didn't say it. It came from Shamia. It is what it is. But anyway, she actually says, I started that. I said it to you. I shouldn't have. Shamia, you also invited Ralph when they were in this horrible ass divorce. You invited him out. Remember that? And you said, you told him all the stuff, and you told him that Drew was fucking Dennis. You told him that. And you want everybody to stay out of your relationship, out of your marriage, because you don't talk about anybody else's. You don't even know the harm that you cause to people. Liar. Anyway, Drew says, I accept that. That is exactly how it started. You did do that to me. Anyway, she was like, well, nobody apologized to me. And then they roll back Shamia's apologies. And all of Shamia's apologies sound exactly the same. They're dry. They don't sound genuine. You sound like a hit dog. Well, if I didn't, I guess I apologize. Bitch, if you did it, you did it. You absolutely did it. Anyway, Drew was like, well, there was two of y'all against me. There was probably more against you than that, Drew, because even I jumped in it. Shit, I was doing reviews talking about, I don't know, you might have did. You know what I'm saying? But everybody on the show at the time, Kenya Moore was like, girl, you nasty. Don't ever fucking do that. Cynthia Bailey was in confessional and said, if anybody tried to date or fuck on Leon, I don't know who I'm going to be. Okay. And Noelle is grown. Everybody had something to say about Drew possibly sleeping with Dennis. So you put out a horrible rumor about her. But I want to say, Drew took those licks and she kept on ticking. She did. Considering what we see in Shamia right now, and I'm giving Shamia just a little bit of, maybe she had a whole lot of other shit on her lap, on her shoulders. But Drew took that beating. And then when Portia and Drew apologized to each other at the end, or Portia apologized to her and said, I don't believe that. And it might have just been to get back at Shamia to say, bitch, that was your rumor, not mine. I hung on to it. I tried to show a text or something. But at the end of the day, I don't believe it. I'm going to let her up from under here. That was a stand-up move too. But anyway, Shamia said, you never forgave me. And Drew told her why. Because, Shamia, when you apologize, you like to put a big but on the end. You said, but like you had more smoke you could give to me. And the truth of the matter is, you can't stand up in anything. You're not a very strong person. You're weak. She's not lying. Drew is a million times stronger, mentally, spiritually, physically, than Shamia. And that's just what it is. Okay? Thank you, Teresa. I appreciate you, girl. I'm just reminding folks of what happened because Shamia does not remember. And I told y'all, maybe, just maybe, I'm going to see what season 18 gives. But this season, she sucks. Period. Anyway, Angela also said, bitch, you barely apologized to me too. I just want to put that out there. You say that you're sorry and that you're not going to do anything. You're not going to talk about my husband again. And then I turn around and your mouth is all over him. Okay? Charles and Angela Oakley were in the back while she was getting refreshed with her makeup and hair, laughing about Shamia. Laughing their asses off. So anyways, it just goes to show you. But she said, I told you to keep my husband's name out of your mouth. You refused to. And then she went on to say that the bottom line is, even though I went after Phaedra, I was 1000% wrong because the picture of Junebug, that blogger who blurted out, Angela Oakley is with a man that doesn't even love her, has a whole girlfriend, at a party for your good friend Kelli. She said he took the picture with you. And Shamia said what is expected to be said of her. I work for the Hawks. I take 100,000 pictures a year. You would remember that little nigga. You would remember that little skinny blogging ass nigga. You absolutely would. Shamia, girl, bye. And she was like, I don't know. I don't remember. Angela said, I showed you the picture, girl. She brushed it off like, I have no clue what you're talking about. I'm not going to stay in this. Anyway, Drew is asked, why did she pretend to bring a horse to Shamia's event? And Drew said, why did I have to pretend? I didn't pretend anything. I don't know that man. I don't care about that man. Okay. She said, I told her I was sorry. The truth of the matter is, I was cringed out. I was embarrassed. My flabbers were gasted, all the things. I was just as upset about it as Shamia was. And then Shamia accepts Drew's apology while subtly calling her broke. Well, I really didn't want the money because I know everything that you're going through right now and that you really can't afford it. I didn't want to take the money from you. Girl, Shamia, a mess. You never said anything like that about Kelli when you gave her your house. You didn't say any of those things. That's just nasty work. Okay. Thank you. Miss Candy. Candid but sweet. Candid but sweet. Thank you. I appreciate you, baby girl. And Ralph works from home so he can keep a temporary custody. Yeah. I mean, if Shamia really stopped to think about what she may have done over Drew's life, how she might have helped mess some shit up for her, like, you did it too, and you did it first. You did it too, and you did it first. And the way that girl acts like everyone's just mad at me because I'm pretty and rich and I don't do anything, it's ugly. It's an ugly behavior. She has to fix it. Anyway, Andy Cohen said, girl, how do you see yourself fitting in with this group after all of this? Because, child, out of everybody, Portia has a broken relationship with you, but you have a broken relationship with everybody else. Shamia says that things went downhill after it was suggested that she had created division in the group, and she has never, ever, 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 ever told Kelli or anybody else on this couch any of the business that she's had with Portia. I've never told anybody that. I don't know why she would say that. Portia said, yes, she did, because I spoke to a mutual friend of ours recently, and they told me that you was out with somebody else. They didn't say Kelli's name, but they definitely said you was out with somebody else, and you couldn't keep my name off your tongue. Okay? So don't say that. While Portia's saying this, every single body on the couch, from Cynthia to Angela to Drew, even Phaedra head nodded. They were all like, girl, bitch, we know you talk about that girl to other people. It's been around town. Everybody knows, right? Anyway, that's when Shamia pulls out her receipt to change the subject. Andy, pass this down. Pass this down to Andy. This is the proof you need that Portia didn't want me on the show. Take the poll at the top of the chat, damn it. I want to know if this was the smoking gun that we was all waiting for. So Andy puts his hand out for a receipt about her being on the show, even though this is her second season. And the girl has been a friend of for many moons. She's been on this damn show. We know, we at least thought we knew Shamia when she was a friend of. She's given us a whole different side now that she holds a peach. But because she holds this damn peach, it shouldn't even be a thought that Portia said Portia didn't want me on the show. But here is the receipt. I snapshotted it because I was like, what the fuck is this? What is this? Let me take this down so y'all can see it. So Andy reads it out loud. He goes, okay, I hope they give you what you're looking for. Good luck. Then he goes down to the bottom. This gonna be hard. This gonna be hard that you have to go against me to get on the show, but love you, so be your ass there. This is gonna be hard. This is what it sounds like she's saying to me. This is gonna be hard to have you go against me on the show, but love you, so be your ass there. Sounds like she's embracing the fact even though it is scary for her that she would have to go against you, which she's already said, they're going to pit us against each other, Shamia. I don't want our friendship to be messed up over this, Shamia. She said that out loud to people, and she said it directly to you. And you are showing us a receipt that literally matches what both of y'all have said. It's not it's not saying she doesn't want you there. It's saying, girl, I've been on the show long enough to know how it works. I don't want us to do this. Y'all have enough history with each other where she did not want that to come out and blow y'all up. I don't think this makes Portia looks bad. I'm going to read your who's the gray. Shamia's in blue. Portia's in gray. I hope they give you what you're looking for. Good luck. Thumbs up. Shamia says, so what does that mean? And what are you saying? Portia says, never mind. Do what you do. We're getting there at 7:20 Havana. And then she said, this is going to be hard. This is going to be hard to have you go against me on the show, but love you. So be your ass there. Shamia, Andy Cohen says, so what is this supposed to prove, Shamia? Portia saying, this is when we did X, Y, and Z. I was like, you don't even have to give a reason, Portia, because nothing for me, nothing on this text messages mean shit. The fact that she brought it actually makes her look bad. It actually suggests that Portia cared more about your fucking friendship than you cared about it. A show you don't even need. When you even said, she was telling me, you got the hogs, you got the movies, you got the this and the that. Why do you need this, Shamia? That wasn't a bad thing to even say to you. Especially if she's saying we're going to get into it. Everything she said came true. What's the date? It doesn't give us a date. It just says today at 4:52. So we don't know exactly when this was at all. We don't know when it was, but I'm going to take you guys' I'm going to read your poll results, y'all. When it was, but I'm going to take you guys. So the poll result is, I asked y'all, did Shamia's receipt of a text message that Portia sent her years ago, because it felt like it was years ago, was it a slam dunk? Was it the slam dunk she thought it was? Wow. 5% of you guys said that Shamia got P. Willie good with that receipt, while 95% of y'all said it wasn't even worth showing. So 95% of you believe that this receipt was bullshit and she should have kept it behind her back or under her ass or wherever she had it hidden, child. Put it back under there. Put it back under there. I agree. I really said that this is sad because it shows us that Shamia, I think Shamia she gets her way a lot. And she's it seems like she's very, very spoiled. She gets her way a lot. And that she probably had a lot of people in her life, Portia being one of them, who may have loved her for who she was. But those relationships are hard to come by. One of the things that sticks in my head is Shamia saying, I've never had as much fun with anybody as I do with Portia, that she feels like she can just be as free as she want to be. And I think that's hard to find. I do. I know people don't understand what that feels like, but being around people that let you be silly or slow or whatever is happening in your world, a spoiled brat, and then you could still be yourself. I don't understand and not judge you. Maybe Portia knows you enough to say, this is who Shamia is right now. I'm a step away. And sometimes that happens in relationships where you're family. Andy did say it was Shamia's husband who didn't want her to be on the show because Shamia said it. Shamia just recently changed that. But Shamia said, my husband don't want me on the show. I've been asked to be a part of this show many times. Many times. So you just don't know what Shamea you're going to get. She has a lot of different personalities. Andy said in real time that Gerald and Shamea was mute. Then Shamea responded online. Ooh, okay. Anyway, I thought that was the saddest receipt I ever seen. Shamea was trying to make it seem like it was you said you hope I get what I want. What did that mean? She also said, I don't want us to go against each other on this show. I don't want you to go against me on the show, but I love your ass, so be there. Girl, goodbye. Goodbye. Okay. Anyway, Portia decides to chime in, and she said the truth of the matter is everybody thinks that I don't like Shamea, that I've been talking about Shamea behind her back, but it's you who were talking to other people behind my back. Shamea said, when? She said, but while she's saying this, everyone on the couch said, yeah, she does talk about Portia behind her back, right? Including, y'all, Portia said, listen, I'm not talking about the shit that happened in this season. I'm talking about during the Nene Leakes and Sheree Whitfield era. You would come on as a friend of and try to get it rocking with those ladies against me. And y'all, if y'all go back and watch some of those scenes with Shamea in it, those ladies had a low tolerance for Shamea, including Kenya. Kenya couldn't stand Shamea, but they would be like, okay, Shamea, you know what I'm saying? Like, they never really connected to her in a way that said, we cool with you. They connected to her because Portia was there. Even Phaedra said, I don't really fuck with Shamea. There's something about her that not everybody finds okay, including Cynthia, but we'll get there. Anyway, Portia said it's all the way back to the Sheree and Nene Leakes era. You were talking about me. She asked Cynthia to confirm it. Cynthia said there were moments in season 16 and season 17 where Shamea has said shit about you. And then she said, no, I'm talking about Nene Leakes and Sheree. And she said, I can't speak for them, but she talked about your ass back then too. She said, yes, I can't speak for, I don't want to put words in their mouth, but yes, she talked about you back then too. And Shamea screams, and what kind of friend are you? And people are going to say, no, Cynthia's just trying to, tag on to Portia's ass. No, I don't think she would have said that. She was very specific. And Cynthia says on the stage, I don't have any problems with Shamea. I've never had a problem with Shamea. I don't even know what we're fighting over now. Like, this is crazy to me. But Cynthia has given me the impression that she can see something's wrong with Shamea, right? You said it, Sanji. You said it. You said it, girl. Anyway, Protection ends up rolling the Scotland trip back, and that's where we get the mighty blow about the mama's child. Portia stares at Andy Cohen like he has 15 heads. I mean, no smile on her face. The black woman stare down, bitch. I will never blink. I will never blink first. Why are you? Don't ask me any questions. Andy Cohen starts asking the question. He looks at Portia. He said, why are you giving me the death stare? She said, because why do I have to answer any questions about this damn friendship, this relationship, and my mama? And Andy Cohen said, I'm going to tell you why. And basically he said, it's because it's our job, child. You filmed there. You got a big fat ass check to do this scene. So we're going to talk about it, okay? And he said, what did your mom say? And Portia said, I'm not talking about my mom. I'm not talking about her. I'm not giving Shamea what she wants. Shamea said, well, I wouldn't let my mama watch it, but I told her about it, and she was sad. She was sad about what transpired. Hey, Deidre, nice to have you. She said she was sad, in my opinion. Andy asked, the cast, what was it like being there when all of that shit went down about the mamas? Because it was sad. And they all said it was the most disgusting, most uncomfortable thing they had ever seen. It's one thing for us to be a part of this show and scream and fuss and make up whatever the stories are about each other, but the mamas never had to be involved. And then Cynthia said, I don't give a damn if it happened, if it didn't happen. The truth of the matter is that was not business that should have ever showed up on that platform. And she went in and basically said it was disgusting. She can't believe that that went down the way it did, so low. Shamia had to suck all that up because Shamia, yes, you brought it up. You brought it up. Shamia then tries to go after Cynthia, and she said, girl, the only reason why I said anything is because somebody said, I've been telling people that I spent time with Portia's daughter. Again, Shamia fans, it didn't happen that way. Portia was literally talking about an incident with Dennis and said that that man need to leave me the fuck alone about who I date. He knows how I feel about my daughter, and him implying that I'm bringing people around our daughter before I get to trust them good is a problem for me because he knows I don't play about Pilar. That's what she said about her baby daddy, not about you, Shamia. How that clicked for you to bring up her daughter in that moment after Andy Cohen said, because he asked this question, this preceded how this whole situation went down. Andy Cohen said, girl, y'all, because he know from production, y'all were told by production or production told me that y'all had all made a pact not to talk about children the day before the dinner scene. The day before the dinner scene. Hey, honey. This is Braylon. Hey, Braylon Lee. Yeah, I'm half blind. I don't always see everybody's name up front. But hey, Braylon Lee, y'all know he is a content creator. I appreciate you coming through. But yeah, she said, listen, y'all had made this pact, so why would you break the pact, Shamia? And that's when she says the thing about, well, someone told me.
Somebody was saying that that I was
Talking about her daughter. Now Portia is looking at Andy like, don't let this continue. But Cynthia's like, bitch, I'm never scared. I was the one who told her. I said, you brought up that you still see her daughter. Yes, I did. I did say that. Okay. Shamia said, well, that was what started me talking about it. Shamia, I'm going to tell you right now, the fastest way to look like a nut is to build a story in your head that only you know about, and you think everybody else is in on it. Nobody else knew what you were talking about. Nobody knew you created that storyline in your head. But anyway, does not matter. Shamia decided that she's going to talk about the last time she saw Pilar was at this movie, and then Portia shut that shit down with the quickness. She said, Andy, do not let her talk about my daughter or my mama. We're not talking about my daughter or my mama. She repeated that like 3 good times, and Andy Cohen was like, got it. Okay, she's sitting right beside you, child. Don't do it. Don't do it. Anyway, Cynthia said at the end of the day, this entire season, Portia and Shamia respected each other's space. They were cordial when they were in the same room with each other. Never in a million years could any of us predicted what went down in Scotland. Never. And she ain't lying. That it came out of nowhere, okay? Andy Cohen said, Portia even advocated for you. Shamia, when? Where? How? He said, you didn't see Portia advocating for you? She said, no. Everyone was quiet, just like they usually are when it comes to me. Production rolls the footage back, and you see Portia in the room when she was going at it with Angela. Portia says to Shamia, don't worry about it. I'ma handle it. I'ma tell her to stop. And she walks out of Shamia's room where Pinky and Kelli were, so they were witnesses to it, and goes down to Angela's room and say, kill it right now. Don't say nothing else. Let this shit be over. Anyway, Shamia said that it didn't happen. No, it didn't happen. That's when you hear Cynthia say, Portia absolutely advocated for you. She absolutely did. That's not all she did, Shamia. She walked out of rooms when people were talking about you. There was a scene between her and Pinky where Pinky was saying something horrible about you. And Portia literally looks at her and says, when this happened? Like, in other words, girl, you need to slow your roll the way you're talking about her. But Portia just makes a smirk, like it figures that she ain't going to ever give me the credit that I'm supposed to have. Anyway, Portia says, Andy Cohen, asked Portia, or there's a question asking Portia how she navigates through the mutual friendships that she shares with Shamia. And Portia said, listen, it's like it never even happened. Not one single mutual friend of ours brings Shamia up to me. And Shamia said, that's interesting because all of our mutual friends have told me things that you said about me in the past. Well, why the fuck wasn't they telling you when it happened? Why are they waiting for the past? Girl, question all of your mutual friends because they sound like they're a bunch of losers, okay? Anyway, and I'm saying this to Shamia because there's no reason for Shamia to even say this. But Portia mentions to Cynthia, she said, it's real wild how this girl echoes everything that I say. If I say something, whether it's right after I say it or 5 minutes from after I say it, she always repeats everything I say like a damn parakeet. Okay? Anyway, Portia goes on to say, after Andy Cohen had asked her how did she think things was going to go between her and Shamia, and she said, listen, at the end of the day, hold on, Shamia knows that Portia's triggers. She does, and she really tries to go after her. But Portia said, at the end of the day, what went down in season 16, was I mad? Was I hot about it? Absolutely. But I'm not the devil. I'm not evil. I'm not evil-hearted or spirited. Portia knows her job on this show. She knows what she's supposed to do. So she said it wasn't completely closed off, and I saw her looking at me with endearing eyes, and I knew that she wanted that friendship back. She wanted me to have something going on, and I saw it too, Portia. We all saw it. Everybody on the cast mentioned it. In fact, when you guys were laughing at that dinner table in Scotland, right before Shamia flipped her wig, you were calling her name and making jokes with her. And that girl still blew up y'all shit. So she said, I saw it. I knew what was going on. But as of right now, the door is closed. Okay? There's nothing else here for us to salvage. And Shamia said that the feeling is mutual. The feeling is mutual, and that what you guys saw last year with me being heartbroken, that was real. It was real this season too, girl. You was just as heartbroken this season as you were last season. That's on God, okay? But anyway, that's really how the episode ends with those two. I have to say that Shamia, with all this shit about what happened in the past, she really did let what happened on television and what the audience thought decide what was going to happen between her and Portia. She let the audience decide that for her. I think it's kind of slimy. I never want a friend who can't think for themselves. You had more good things to say about Portia than you ever had bad things to say about Portia. And you let a group of people who don't know you, who didn't know who you were for real, because we're just now learning you as an audience, but you let a bunch of people who didn't know you for real, trick you out of your spot, along with a bunch of people that just don't like Portia because they just aren't in her league, trick you out of your spot because they'd rather see you fight her than be your friend. And I think that's really, really sad. It's really sad. But you always want to be friends with somebody who has a mind of their own. These are all lessons that your mama taught you when you were a kid. She don't have a mind of your own. You don't want to be a friend with somebody who can't think for themselves, that need to hear it from somebody else. They're lousy people. They're crappy. They're crappy people. Okay? But y'all, that is it. That's it. That's the show. Y'all stayed on here with me for a long time, and I appreciate every single one of y'all. Thank you to Miss Deidre Keys for coming through and hanging out with us tonight, along with my members. Y'all know how I feel about y'all. My new member who joined today, I appreciate you, friend. And also Teresa. Teresa and Candid But Sweet. Thank you guys for blessing the channel. You guys are amazing. Okay. Whew, I hope I didn't, go too hard on anybody. Well, I don't really give a shit. You know what I'm saying? Y'all put y'all life on TV for us to talk about. Let's start there. Y'all put y'all lives on TV for us to talk about, and that's what we do. So y'all get paid a lot of money. Y'all go on amazing trips. Y'all do a whole lot of stuff. So I'm going to assume that it is working out for y'all exactly the way it's supposed to. Okay. But yes, watch the replay. If you are just now coming in, watch the replay, hit the like button, share the video, make sure y'all hype me up if you are watching the replay as well. What else? That's it. Follow me on all platforms at DYANAROZAY. Y'all know how I feel about y'all, child. Y'all are my cousins, okay? We look good, we feel good, we smell good, we have a good goddamn time, we have good vibes over here. I appreciate every single one of y'all for rocking with me. And until the next ones, babes, bye-bye.